Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto was an outcast Uchiha in the times of the Sannins. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and stick around for the rest of the What Ifs coming your way over Anime King 3 and Anime King. If you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day. Yes, you have not misheard that, every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And remember to share this to all of your friends in social media platform. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this new episode start? The intro. So the last spot we left off. The most powerful Uchiha, Mother Uchiha, left behind a legacy. He had a son, which he named after his deceased brother, Izuna. Izuna got drove mad over time, for several different reasons, as he chose to attack the village. His attack brought a lot of devastation, a lot of life were lost, but in the end, Tobirama struck down another Izuna. On his deathbed though, the man says final farewells and his wishes. And Tobirama was an honorable man, so he listened. And the news that he heard surprised him. A few years later, a rather small child was making his way. The woman that was supposed to hand out the forms, even though she had them, she refused to give him one of the forms, as he seemed to be on the verge of tears as he walked away, making her feel rather sad. But she still got back to work. Maybe it was better if he didn't become a ninja, she thought to herself. There was a reason for that though. The small child made his way. It didn't take him too long as he arrived. Towards the park where he was sitting down, another kid had second form as he threw it away. As the child was Naruto Uchiha as he caught the form and filled it out as best as possible. When he got to the Hokage's tower, the receptionist would not let him go in, saying that he had to wait for 2 weeks. As he begged and pleaded with her, but she told him no. He crumbled up the form and threw it in the bin as he left, as she felt rather sad at that moment, but he was already gone before she could stop him. As Tobirama came out, he had saw the last part of the interaction as he saw what child threw in the bin. He understood exactly why she treated the child like that, but what did the child do to deserve that? He was merely a child. The things of the past could not affect his way of living. He was angry at her, as he told her to get away, to get out of here and do not come back. She was fired, and he was done talking. He made his way to find the child. Not familiarizing his chakra signature, he had to search the old-fashioned way, so he searched the village. It took him a while until he arrived. It was then that he saw the child with a small cub that was rather friendly to him. At first he did not tell him who he was, as he spoke to him, as they got to know one another, as he asked him about his dream to go on. Several things in fact. The child was calm and nice, and Tobirama found himself indulging the child a bit. As he gave him the form, Naruto was beyond happy that it was signed. As the man introduced himself as Naruto was shocked, the both of them started to mess around, including Naruto being thrown into the water by Tobirama. Mito had came looking for him, as she wanted to take Sannin shopping, and she wanted her granduncle to come, as the academy was starting very soon. The sight that Mito came upon was surprising, as Naruto used her as an escape way, so Tobirama would not harm him with the water anymore. As they spoke to said child, Naruto has had a difficult life, seen from the way he acted, from the way he just kept himself. They promised to come by and give him the scrolls that he might needed, as he was beyond grateful. literal tears in his eyes as he thanked them. The next day, the cub came by his house. Naruto was surprised that she found him, but he was happy though, as he wouldn't be lonely so much more. So with that he waited. First, the head of the Uchiha came by, as he greeted Naruto. He would have helped Naruto sign up the form, but Naruto already did it, as he was so proud of him, as he greeted him with a happy smile. Afterwards, he made his way, as Tobirama and Mito came by, as Naruto greeted them politely, from the way he carried himself, and not to mention from the way his house looked. They wished that Sannin was more like this, but Hoshirama spoiled her rotten. Yes, he spoiled her really rotten. But this child was something as though, as he sat down and got them tea and snacks, so they could talk. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place, check out yourself. So yeah, let's jump right into this new episode guys. The scroll that was given to Naruto by Tobirama. Naruto unfurled it, as he wondered what the hell was this. Maybe they would teach him another language within the academy, because he didn't understand this. Mito released a soft sigh, seeing the child look at the scroll, with a calculative look on his face, and a bit of confusion. She couldn't believe that Tobirama implied for the boy to know what is a story scroll, when he didn't even have a single day at the academy yet. She looked at him with accusing eyes, as he looked at her, not understanding what exactly her problem was. She looked back towards Naruto, who seemed to have given up as he rolled the scroll back up. Naruto, as he turned towards her, as she saw his blue baby eyes look towards her. With his Uchiha features, it just enhanced him so much, making him so adorable. "Come on over here," she said, as she patted the space by her side. As he went over and sat down, she took the scroll and scooted a bit closer to him, as she unfurled it. "Naruto, this is a storage scroll," she said, as he was paying attention 100%. He loved learning new things, and this was a shinobi affair. She placed 2 fingers over the strange symbols that he could not read, and then there was a poof. His eyes widened as he saw the books and scrolls on top of the storage scroll. Mito smirked as she glanced towards Tobirama, who realized that he did not even notice that the child would not know what a storage scroll was. But instead of going for the books or the scrolls that came out, he picked up the larger scroll and started looking over. Wow, how did this small scroll hold so much things? Is it special? Why did these small markings change slightly? How many books can it hold? How did they get in there? Where do you get these? Mito was surprised as his eyes caught a slight change in the seal, with just a single glance. Most would not even notice. "This, Naruto, is a storage scroll," she said, as she took it from his hand patiently. "You have to pump chakra to store things in it, or take them out when you want." He don't seem to be quite convinced with her vague explanation, but she smiled. She loved explaining things, especially regarding Fuinjutsu to anyone that might listen. It was such an obscure and unknown art, except for members of her clan, as she pointed her fingers on the strange markings. These markings are kanji, as you can see, are seals, special markings that belong to a very rare branch of the ninja art, Fuinjutsu. These things hold these things stored away in them, placed by the user in a small storage containment. Not that the scroll itself is special, it is all in these seals. As the child was in awe at the small seals, as she called them. Wow, they must be so powerful if these little markings can hold all those things inside. The other arts of this Fuinjutsu must be amazing as well. Both Tobirama and Mito looked toward each other, both of them surprised as Mito smiled at a young candidate who might be interested in Fuinjutsu. As Naruto asked, "Will they teach this to us at the academy as well?" Tobirama shook his head though. "Naruto, Fuinjutsu is a very scarce and rare act that most does not venture into, even at their own accord," said Mito. "But why is that?" said Naruto. "It seems so cool." Both the elders are surprised. Most likely kids did not want to learn Fuinjutsu or even Genjutsu. They want something flashy, something that could be seen, something powerful. But this child, he just kept on amazing them time after time. You really are an interesting child. Most children love ninjutsu or taijutsu, since they seem so flashy and cool, and most of them simply brushed off the other arts. It is really rare for one to take an interest in it on their own. As she started to brush his hair, she couldn't help but gush as he saddened, adorable crestfallen that he wouldn't be able to learn in the academy. He was just so adorable. You know, she said, it is a specialty of my clan. He perked up at that. It is only learned by a rare few out of my clan. And even inside, there's only a few that could be called a Fuinjutsu master. After all, it is the most complex art known to the entire shinobi world. They watched as he turned his gaze back toward the scroll, as he did not say anything. As Naruto was intrigued to no end, it was stupid that they would not teach this art at the academy. So what if it was hard? That made it more important for people to learn it. Where can I get some books on Fuinjutsu? He asked. Mito smiled happily at his words. Tobirama was surprised. Mito was intrigued as well. Even if he was a Uchiha, Fuinjutsu prospects in students were a rare thing to see. As she turned him towards her, well, I'm not so bad at Fuinjutsu. Why don't I show you a few things? And we can see if you want to continue to learn the art in the future. As Naruto beamed at her with a happy nod. Really? You'll teach me? He asked. His voice sounded a bit uncertain, but she nodded with a smile. When do we start? As she giggled at his enthusiasm. Well, we could start now, but I don't think you have a calligraphy kit, so I will have to bring one with me. Naruto cut her off. What is this calligraphy kit? I might have one, he said. What does it contain? But she giggled and shook her head. No, Naruto-kun, it is rare for any other members than those clan to have a sealing kit with them. Naruto shook his head. Madara JJ Library has so much things inside of it, and so does my father. Maybe you can find this kit in there, said Naruto, as he did not want to miss a chance to learn the Fuinjutsu in the slightest. Mito was surprised, but the idea seemed possible. He got to his feet and took her hand in his own. As he escorted them through the house, Mito and Tobirama seen how truly beautiful it was. Never explored this much before. As Naruto stopped in front of a sliding door, with the Uchiha symbol over it, as he slit it open, as they stepped in with him, what they saw caused their eyes to widen. The room had shelves of other different things stacked. Tobirama turned his gaze as he saw weapons on the wall, but two of them caught his gaze. There hung on the wall was Madara's personal war fan, and Aizuna personal katana. His mind was hit with several memories of them battling with those weapons. The second row had scrolls, all of them arranged in Nin, Tai, and Genjutsu. They were jutsu scrolls of all ranks and elements, even non-elemental, were categorized. It was possibly larger than the village-owned personal library. The members of the Uchiha clan used their Sharingan to document all techniques that they learned from all other clans. But something seemed wrong here. Naruto, do you know by any chance why the clan elders haven't taken any of this and absorbed them into the clan property? As he unfurled a simple D-rank jutsu to see the signature of Madara at the end of it. As Naruto nodded, surprising to Tobirama, the weapon section alone would make them raise hell over absorbing it into the clan. Seeing that it was all kept here to Naruto alone, Mito was shocked too that he knew why the clan hasn't tried to take it from him. Mom told me when she brought me here sometimes. His voice became sad as he whispered, only someone closer to her family can enter this room. I don't know how it is, but she told me this room recognized our blood and chakra signature. No one has ever been here except for you two today. As he looked for the small kit that Mito told him about, not seeing the two shocked look on their faces. As Mito looked around, she saw the seals on the wall. Several layers of security, privacy, and silencing seal. This was done by a full-blown seal master. Clearly, whoever set this up didn't want anyone to be sneaking around here without his or her permission, and knowing the kind of people the house belonged to before. It wasn't surprising. The two were very strict when it came to privacy, and they show it to the fullest. Tobirama had to ask, then why have you brought us here, Naruto? It's a family heirloom that has been protected by your family for generations. Why have you shown it to us? Mito wanted to scold him for such a blunt response, even though the boy had showed them the courtesy of bringing them here. But Tobirama was right. She wanted to know, as she was curious as well. I trust you too, he said, as he coughed, as there was something dusty in there. Mom told me to only bring those I trust in here, and never bring anyone from my clan because they might try to take it all. But I trust you too. Tobirama Ji-chan is a Hokage, and Lady Mito is rather nice as well. You guys brought me books, and you helped me get into the academy. Lady Mito even offered to teach me. No one's ever been this nice to me. As Naruto was turned around, as he looked down at Mito, who was kneeling on his level. Naruto, don't call me Lady Mito, okay? Call me Mito Bachan, okay? She said with a smile. He nodded, a bit embarrassed as she pulled him in her arms for a hug. The child was just so sweet. As she walked with him through several shelves, some basic jutsu was in there. Tobirama was going through some of the ninjutsu scrolls, but he didn't find anything too interesting in there, or anything forbidden. He was glad and disappointed at the same time. Glad that a kid like him, so curious, didn't have anything too dangerous to tinker with that might get him hurt. And disappointed that he didn't find anything that piqued his interest. Naruto, you say you haven't brought any Uchiha here, Tobirama asked. That includes Kagami as well, right? As Naruto nodded. No, that surprised him, knowing how close Kagami was to the boy. Mom made me promise never to bring another Uchiha in here, no matter what. And only those from outside the clan I can trust completely. And since he's a Uchiha, I decided not to tell him, said Naruto. As Mito smiled, and the boy trusted him so much, but Tobirama believed that Naruto was being too naive right now. Anyone would die to get their hands on this. His first thoughts was thinking of absorbing it into the village archives, but he wouldn't do that. He would not touch a family heirloom, especially with it being this important to the child. But still, if someone else were to find this, and all of this stacked here. As Mito kneeled down, Naruto-kun, you have to promise me something like you promised your mom. Can you do that for me, she asked. See, no problem, he nodded. Don't bring or tell anyone else about this room other than us. Okay? You don't have any idea what people would do to get their hands on this room and all the information inside of it. Promise me the room stays a secret with only us knowing about it. She said the same thing his mother told him, as Naruto believed that she was right. I promise, Bachan, he said. She smiled and ruffled his hair as she gave him a kiss on the forehead. Let's go, she said. I found it. As she saw Tobirama still looking over, let's go, she said. She grabbed him by the arm and pulled him out, as he was like a child scouring the place. Tobirama pouted, not getting anything he wanted. As he saw Naruto holding on to Mito's hand, the boy's soft-heartedness and kindness was infectious, as he wormed his way into his heart and he was doing the same thing to Mito. It seems like she finally found the apprentice that she was looking for, after scouring for so long. Mito put Naruto on her lap, as much as he was embarrassed. She made him sit there as she looked over his head, placing the kid in front of him. This was a moment every seal master cherished, when they decided to take on an apprentice. As she took one of the brush with the ink on it, making him hold it the same way. Alright, Naruto, watch carefully, she said, as he nodded under her chin. As she drew the kanji for fire on the paper, he tried to do the same, but his ending strokes were a bit sloppy. Tobirama sat there as he sipped some of his tea. 2 hours passed like that. They had tried to do the same thing with Sannin, Mito had tried, but Sannin was too hot-headed, and she couldn't stay still for that long to focus on his art. She rather taijutsu. As Mito smiled down at him. That's enough for today, Naruto-kun, she said. It's hard time for the sun to set. As Naruto glanced behind her toward the sliding door, he was surprised at how late it was. As he got off her lap, both elders stood up from their most interesting day. As the two stopped at the doorway, as the child bowed his head, thank you for taking your time to visit and teach me. It was really nice. He spoke in a soft tone as Mito crouched down and poked his nose. Thank you for having us, my little adorable thing, she said. Now you come to my house tomorrow after the academy, so we can begin, okay? As Naruto beamed and hugged her happily, as she hugged him back equally happily. But where do you live, Bachan? Said Naruto. Just ask anyone near the eastern end of the small clan district to the small Uzumaki compound, and you will be brought up to me, she said. So come anytime, I'm free, and alone all day long, so don't worry about the time. It would be rather nice to have such nice company with me from now on, she said. The blonde grin caused her to grin back. Tobirama, not a man for many words, said his simple goodbye, as Naruto waved goodbye as he made to inside. After a small dinner with his small cub, he went to bed. The next morning, he leaped out of bed and landed on his feet. Today was the day that he go to the academy. Meow. He turned to see the small cub. He leaned on and brushed back her fur. Today is the day, girl. I'm joining the academy today. As Naruto filled up the tub. The cub tried to run away, but he grabbed her and brought her in the tub. He made up some milk and bacon, as he left some milk in her bowl, until he returned. As he packed the things of the first day, he was about to leave until he realized he was still in his towel. He was just so excited. But today he went into his parents' room, as he felt sad as he walked in. The bed was still a bit messy. He hadn't made it up. It was a way to remember his parents. I'm going to the academy today, Mom and Dad. Wish me good luck. As he made his way to the closet, and the clothing was ranging from all sizes. His father bought clothes either once and kept them in storage. Since when time came for him to wear them, he didn't like them. So they were mostly in pristine condition. That was the reason he never got worried for buying clothing. But the things that his father wore, he did not touch those. Those were precious. He pulled a white sleeve shirt with the Uchiha symbol on it. Blue pants and blue sandals go along with them. As he saw the cub at the doorstep waiting for him. As he picked her up in his arms, she licked his nose. Alright girl, now I'll be back by evening. I put the milk in the kitchen in your usual bowl, and some spare meat I cooked up for my sandwich. So take care of the house while I'm gone, and don't make a mess of the place, okay? She tilted her head and licked her nose with a yawn. Completely oblivious of his words it seems. As he placed her down, she rushed towards the room, no doubt to sleep. Time skip. Ninja Academy. As he arrived, Naruto was confused. The place was empty and barren of life. He expected to see many people here. He checked the time, it was 9, and they were supposed to be here at 9:30. So he was early. He walked into the large building, looking over the hallways. As he heard the hushed voices, he walked to the assigned room, the number that Tobirama had given him when he gave him the form. He slit it open. What he saw was not what he was expecting. The parents were in there along with their children, and all eyes were on him the moment he opened the door. He saw most of them narrow their eyes. As he looked down a bit. Can I help you, young man? A man with a green vest, shinobi clothing, stepped in front of him and asked him. The man looked at him curious, but he was smiling though. He pulled out his signed form and handed it to the man, who took it with a curt nod. I am assigned to this class, sir. The man looked at him. Then why are you so late? All children were supposed to be here an hour earlier. For the introduction. Didn't the lady hand out your forms inform your parents of this, he asked. I don't have any parents, and my form was not taken from the academy, sir. Someone gave me an extra. The man turned a bit sad in his reply. An orphan, huh? And so young. He noticed the name, Uchiha. As he got a Uchiha to teach, but when he saw the boy's father's name, his eyes narrowed. The warm eyes that he gave the boy earlier switched, looking a bit narrowed. He's related to them, huh? As Naruto looked towards his feet. Go and take a seat, the man said, in a dismissive tone. As Naruto walked, he instantly heard the parents telling their children to stay away from him. That he was a bad boy. As Naruto looked away, not looking at any of them, he stood all alone in the corner as he looked at his bag. To not look up, to not cry. The teacher told them all to take a seat when the bell rang as the parents leave. All the children placed something beside them so he would not sit down. But he ignored them all and walked towards the corner as he sat down in the corner side. Looks like I won't be making any friend anytime soon, he thought to himself. It was then the door swing open as Naruto turned to see a girl. She had blonde hair. As her hair was done up in a ponytail, as she was wearing a white kimono. Sorry, sensei. I slept in, she said. Apologizing as she handed the man her snuffed up form. He read it. His eyes perked up when he did. He handed her the form with a smile, forgetting any punishment or anything else. She went up the steps, seeing many seats empty open. The first one was a boy with 2 red marks on his cheek. He was smirking at her. She ignored him. As she walked up to see another boy with the black hair and black eyes, that attitude that she knows so much about. Uchiha, she thought, as she ignored the seat almost immediately. It was then that she saw the blonde hair and blue baby eyes. She made her way and sat right beside him. As she turned towards him, Naruto was surprised. Hi, I'm Sannin. Sannin Senju. Nice to meet you. As she put her hand forward for him to shake, a smile came on Naruto's face. I'm Naruto. Naruto Uchiha, he said. Nice to meet you. But she pulled her hand back with a huff. Naruto instantly turned away to hide his misty eyes. As he glanced towards the window, she hated him too the moment she heard the last name. As he did not look back, to anger her even more. Sannin was surprised that he still extended his hand towards her, even after hearing her name, but she wasn't going to fall for any pranks or any snide remarks from those damn Uchiha kids. They always tried to do that to her. But she caught sight of his gaze as he looked through the window. She expected him to be arrogant, but nothing came from him. Sannin Senju. Yes, she said. As his name was called, Naruto Uchiha, she saw the small glare the teacher sent. As the boy muttered a small here. Alright class, we're gonna start with a history lesson today. Sannin groaned. She hated history with a passion. It always made her sleep when her grand uncle tried to drill the clan history in her head. She tried not to pull her hair out, as she was annoyed by all of this. Many of the children started to doze off around her. as her cheeks puffed up in annoyance. She glanced towards her partner beside her, to see him jotting down information and even listening. Quite well. Only these stupid Uchihas can pay so much attention to these boring lectures. The teacher looked up when he heard a small yawn as he saw half of his class was already asleep. The bell rung as the teacher told him of the taijutsu lessons after the lunch break. As Naruto pulled out his sandwich, as he took a bite, everyone pulled out their homemade lunch, bentos. As Tsunade pulled out the bento her mother made for her, as she went through her bag. As her eyes went wide, she remembered her mother calling out to her. Her lunch was on the table, as she never put it in her bag. She slammed her head on the desk and released a soft sigh. She had forgotten it at home. Naruto glanced as he wondered why she hadn't brought out her lunch yet. She was a bit late, so he wondered, "Did you forget your lunch?" he asked. She glanced up with irritated eyes as she huffed that he got it on the first try. "Why do you ask? Are you gonna compare me to the elite Uchiha?" But she was confused when her wrapped sandwich was placed in her hands. She was confused. Other children offered for her to sit with them, but they didn't offer her anything to eat or ask her why she wasn't eating. "Why are you giving me this?" she asked, confused. "Well, we do have taijutsu lessons after lunch, so it will need a lot of physical energy, and if you don't eat, you wouldn't have any. I brought the extra with me in case I got late for home, so you can have it if you want." As he went back to eating his sandwich in silence, the silence was eating away at her heart as she looked towards the food in her hand. The guilt was eating away at her now. She hadn't even talked to him nicely, and yet he was the only one that offered her food. "I'm sorry," she said. But Naruto didn't hear her that well because there was so much noise in the classroom. "I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat it?" he said. "I said I'm sorry for treating you the way I did, alright?" As her cheeks became pink. "But don't expect me to repeat it, because I won't. Got it?" she said. He merely nodded, as he didn't know why she was getting so hyper. Maybe she was a lot hungry. "And thanks for sharing your food with me." As Naruto nodded timidly. No one had ever really thanked him before. Tsunade bit into the sandwich, and the flavors burst into her mouth. It was unlike anything she ever had before. It was a bit weird, but still nice. She thought it was perfect. A moment later, she devoured the sandwich, as she gulped down the offered water bottle. As she patted her chest, Naruto smiled as she liked his cooking. "Hey, why aren't you being mean to me?" she asked him, looking at him. He was confused. "I'm sorry, I don't get it," he asked. "You're Uchiha, right?" He nodded. "And I'm a Senju." As she looked at him, "I'm sorry, but I still don't understand what you mean." She frowned. Was he gonna let her explain it? As she sighed, "How our clans have been enemies for generations. Uchiha kids try to bully me, or pull pranks on me, so in a rap they're plain old mean to me. Why aren't you doing the same?" He bit down his last bite as he opened his water bottle. "Well, you haven't done anything to me, so being mean to you because you're a Senju is quite stupid." She shook her hand off the breadcrumbs fallen off. As he finished his water, she extended her hand. "Then I guess we can be friends. So, let's start again. I'm Tsunade Senju. Nice to meet you," she said. He wiped his hand with his handkerchief, making her feel embarrassed that she hadn't done the same, but she probably left that at home as well. "Nice to meet you. I'm Naruto Uchiha," he said. As they shook hands, the start of a new friendship. "Alright class, it's time for your first taijutsu lesson, so everyone come out now." As Naruto and Tsunade walked out together in the back, time skip, the teacher stood in front of all of them with his clipboard. As he coughed, as they all turned towards him. "Alright, this is the first day of our weekly regular spars that we will have from now on. Now before we begin, go and run a few laps around the academy to warm up." As all of them start to run, with Naruto and Tsunade flanking the back of the group. After taking a complete jog around the grounds, "Why do we," Tsunade huffed, "have to run for this? We have to warm up so we don't hurt ourselves in the spars. Plus, we just had lunch, so Sensei probably want us to warm up first," said Naruto. As he wasn't at all phased, thanks to his letter for her friend. The cub was really fast, and he always chased after her. "You have an answer for everything, don't you?" she said. Her breathing was a bit off, but she did not lose a speck of her speed as she moved. As Naruto was confused, huh? She shook her head. When the end finally came, she collapsed on the ground. As Naruto placed both hands on his legs. "Alright class, it was very nice for your first day. I'm glad that all of you completed your laps," the teacher said proudly. "Now come on and gather around the ring." As Naruto looked down towards Tsunade, who was still on the ground. "Come on, let's go," he said. As he extended his hand towards her, Sannin looked right into his baby blue eyes. For the first time she noticed how pretty his eyes were, not like the other Uchiha black eyes. As she held onto his hand with a grin, he pulled her up as she dusted off her kimono and caught him in a headlock. Much to his confusion, "That doesn't mean I could not get up on my own, got it?" she asked sternly. He was a bit confused, but he nodded, figuring that was the best thing to do right now, as she placed her hands behind her back with a cheeky grin. "Now children, I'll introduce all of you to the sacred tradition of hand-to-hand combat." These were used by our Hokage themselves to toughen them up. As the children start to focus even intently now, we will go through one-on-one exercises, so that you will have the experience needed when the time comes for the real world fights. I will explain the rules along with the spar. So first up, Ensui Nara and Hayuzuku Hayuga, please enter the ring. The two boys stepped forward. The Nara had his hair up in a high ponytail, but low at the back, a bit lazily, as the other one had his pupilless eyes, a signature that he was from the Hayuga clan. Alright, now both of you raise your hand like this as he showed them the half-ram seal. This is called the seal of confrontation. It usually symbolizes the marking of the fight between you and your opponent. When you end the spar, you both clasp the seal together to show a sign of goodwill and friendship. Do the both of you understand this much? As all of them are in the ring nodded. So now I'll explain the rules either way. The fight ends with either the opponent put in a position that he cannot get back up. No weapons, no jutsus, except kunas can be used. And that too, for only hand-to-hand combat. No maiming or fatal blows harm your opponent are allowed. The person that steps out of the ring loses automatically, and I will step in if anyone's about to get hurt. Do I make myself clear? As the two boys nodded. Alright then. Let's begin with the first spar, shall we? Begin! The Hyuga dropped in his stance, but Ensui Nara simply looked at him before he turned his back and walked out of the ring. "Ensui, what are you doing?" the teacher asked. The boy looked towards him as he yawned and shrugged. "You said that stepping out of bound means signifying defeat, Sensei, so I willingly lost to end this spar. It is merely logical for me to do so, to end it as quickly as possible, more so because it's so much work." The teacher slapped his hand over his face as everyone snickered. The teacher decided to let it go since that it was his first day, and it wasn't surprising for a Nara member to do this. They were known for it actually. Just make the seal before you go. If that is not too much work, that is. The Hyuga had a small scowl at not getting the spar that he wanted, but they made the seal and separated. The teacher went through the list. Next, Akio, Inuzaka, and Jin Uchiha please step in the ring. The two boys stepped forward. Akio had simple shaggy brown hair with the red tattoos on his cheek. Jin had the black eyes with the black hair. "Alright, today's my day. I get to beat that Uchiha down the ground on my first day. Talk about luck," Akio said. "As if," said Jin. "Hey, you got something to say?" Akio asked. "I said as if. I'm not like you can ever hope to touch me and Uchiha. We're called the elites of the village for a reason, and I'll show that reason to you right now." The Inazaka bearded his fangs. "We'll see about that," he says. He dropped into the Inazaka fighting style. "That we will," said Jin, as he entered the basic Uchiha stance. "Alright, are you two ready?" Both boys nodded. "Begin!" Akio threw his fist forward. Jin simply slapped it away as it went by his face. Jin then stepped to deliver a brutal uppercut, but the Inazaka jumped back a few steps. Jin then motioned for him to come. Akio saw him standing back there and taunted him to come. The Inazaka temper kicked in as he rushed forward. As he threw a kick, but Jin blocked it with his right arm and threw a punch towards his chest before he lowered it towards his stomach. Before Akio could block, he mustered his strength up and slammed it in his stomach. As Akio fell to the ground, gripping his stomach in pain as he coughed, Jin then leaped as he brought his foot down to smash it over his head, but Akio rolled out of the way as he exited the circle. The whole audience clapped, especially the teacher, who was happy to have such a great spar on the first day. "Excellent, you two. I couldn't be prouder to see such an excellent spar on our first day. Jin, you were excellent. Not that I should expect any less from an Uchiha member." As Jin soaked it all in, with a pride smirk, prideful one. "Jin-kun, that was so awesome," made a girl squeal. He walked to the crowd as he walked past Naruto, with a slight bump to his shoulder. "Beat that dead last," said Jin. As he said to Naruto, He was about to walk off until he fell on the ground. As Naruto turned confused. You might want to get up, Uchiha. Don't want to ruin that Uchiha name, as the children start to laugh. As Naruto was confused. I won't forget this, Senju, said Jin. As he walked off. What happened, said Naruto. Why is he so angry at you? Oh, nothing, don't worry about it. She saw what that Uchiha did, so she stuck her feet out to trip him. Why was he being such a pest to you? You two know each other or something? Jin and I have met in the past in our clan grounds. He hangs out with other kids in our clan, said Naruto. As Ned scowled. She didn't want to tell Naruto that he was on her top of the list to beat one of her bullies. Well, they don't like me hanging out with them, so I always keep my distance away from them. She could see his point, but she wouldn't want anything to do with that annoying brat as well. Always acting so arrogant like he was better. But he especially don't like me because I wear the symbol on my clothing, while he does not. Snethy was confused. What do you mean wearing the symbol? As she then noticed that Naruto wore the Uchiha crest. The boy did not. Alright, you wouldn't know, but not anyone can wear our clan symbol just like that. It is a matter of pride for our members of our clan to wear it on our clothing and represent our clan. Only those who have passed the rite of passage can wear it, after getting the approval from one of the elders. Oh, so you passed his rite of passage, and he has not. As Naruto nodded. Cool, she said. As she ruffled his hair, as Naruto tried to shake her off, another thought went through her mind as she released him, as he straightened himself back up. What is it anyways? It is a small ritual of sorts, that all Uchiha has done since ancient times. The Uchiha members does not deem their clan members worthy until they can produce a fireball jutsu completely and show it to a member of the elder of the clan. And they will give us the go-ahead to wear the symbol. I completed a month ago and showed it to Kagamai, and he gave me the go-ahead to wear the symbol. Jin has not yet, so he's upset that he cannot wear it and I can. Snetty gripped his shoulders. Wait, you can shoot fireballs from your mouth? As she looked rather excited, as Naruto nodded dumbly, as she was rather quite impulsive. You should so do it in your spar. I bet everyone would be amazed. And to see the stupid look on that idiot's face, as she rubbed her hands together in a mischievous way. Naruto reached up as he touched her forehead. She looked up confused as he touched his. Your temperature seemed fine, he said. I wonder if she was okay. Anyways, I can't do it in a spar. She pouted. Why not, she said. As it would be so awesome to watch him burn his opponent and the look on the teacher's face and that idiot Jin. Once again he placed his hand on her forehead and his hand on his. Maybe we should take you to the infirmary. As her eyes started to twitch, she bumped him on the head softly. Why won't you do it, she asked. Sensei say we can't use any ninjutsu, remember? She was about to open her mouth saying that rules could be bent when he spoke once again. Plus, I can hurt my sparring partner by doing that. That won't be nice. As her cheeks increased in a puff, she couldn't think of anything. Killjoy, she said. As he felt bad now at making his only friend sad, he poked her in the arm as she looked towards him. If you want, I can show it to you after the academy. All of her sadness vanished as she grinned. Yeah, we'll do that. So now let's beat up our opponents then. You can spout some cool fireballs for me all evening long. As she raised her fist in happiness, he raised his fist as well, as people started to look towards them. She blushed. What are you doing? He shrugged as he didn't really know himself. As she smiled, seeing his confused smile. Alright, let's move on to the next part, the sensei said. Well, he paused as he glanced up. They saw his eyes change a bit. Sakumo Hatake and Naruto Uchiha, please step in the ring. As Naruto heard all the whispers. Go on and show him who's boss, said Snetty. As Naruto walked, he did not put that much training in regarding taijutsu. He only focused on the fireball jutsu so that he could wear the clan symbol. The most experience he had to hand-to-hand combat was what he read from a scroll. But reading did not do that much good in physical exercises. He would have to do this one on instinct alone. If Silver your opponent stepped in, there was a serious look on his face. For Sakumo, he heard of the feared reputation of the Uchiha, and from what he's seen in previous spar, he expected his opponent to be, if even more, lethal. But he saw that the blonde boy was nervous. He smiled. Let's have a good match, he spoke up. As he extended his hand, Naruto reached out and shook his hand, the nervousness washing away. Go on, Naruto! Kick his ass, Snatty yelled. He looked a bit embarrassed as Sakumo chuckled a bit. You have quite an interesting friend there. Yeah, she's a bit impulsive. Oi! I heard that, Snatty yelled. Naruto rubbed his neck as he apologized, as she started to root for him once again. Alright, now make the seal, the teacher said. Sakumo dropped into his stance. A rather unique stance, as Naruto tried to imitate what he saw in the scroll. Alright, calm yourself down. Right palm out front, left palm to the side. Close to the chest, right to attack, left to block, as he spread his legs slightly. Meanwhile that was going on, two figures were looking down from the balcony. So why are we here again? The man standing to the right said. To watch the fight of the academy here, of course. The man to his right said. Well, we haven't done this any time in the past, the man said. Quite annoyed to see kids fight it out. Well, there's a first time for everything then. You're getting old, Tobirama. The man beside him said. Tobirama snapped his gaze towards him. I'm not old. Almost offended at the prospect of having his age mentioned. The man by his side merely chuckled as he lit up a cigarette. This is what old people like us do. When we pass on the reins, looking for the new generation to take over for us, to nurture one so young with all the care that we can give. That is our duty to the village. And you call me old, said Tobirama. The man took a puff of a cigarette, as both of them watched. Typical Inuzaka members, easily riled up and lose their head before the fight begins. Typical Uchiha, all arrogant, on their own style seem to bastardize a couple of other true styles of stance for their almighty Sharingan, only to make themselves seem original and deceptive. How far has the great clan fallen, the man said, as Tobirama merely grunted. The brown-haired man chuckled as he saw Sannin trip the boy when he bumped into the Uchiha. She's Hoshirama's granddaughter, alright. Part Senju, part Uzumaki. Tobirama shook his head. He had to make her take a course to calm her emotions down. Sometimes she just get too riled up and do some impulsive things. Tobirama perked up though when he heard the next fight. Naruto, Uchiha. So finally the fight that you draw me here for, the man said. Tobirama frowned at being caught so easily. Well. Already having the Uchiha clan symbol on him. This should prove not to be so boring as the other one. But Tobirama did not answer, so he turned towards him. Seeing Tobirama's eyes widen. But the man turned back as he saw. The cigarette fell from his mouth when he saw Naruto fighting stance. Wait, isn't that? Tobirama nodded dumbly. The interceptor fist, the original style of the Uchiha clan. He certainly does his heritage proud, the brown-haired man said, as Tobirama nodded. That he does. Where the hell did he come across that style though, the brown-haired man said. Madara was the last one to inherit it, and it was seemingly lost with him. Tobirama nodded, although he had a guess where Naruto came across such a style. I have no idea, he lied. His partner seemed to notice that he was lying, but he said nothing. Back to the sparring area. Sakamoto saw all the holes in the stance. There was so much holes in it. Or maybe this was just a diversion, he thought to himself, because the stance looked rather sloppy and unusual. Begin! Seeing the big hole, Sakamoto decided to move forward and end it quickly, as Naruto stood there as calm as a rock, making him come in for the strike. Sakamoto slipped his right foot, getting his guard, but Naruto slipped his left foot, negating Sakamoto's movements. Sakamoto turned his leg once again, but Naruto turned his, negating his movement once again. He had enough. He thrust his fist towards Naruto's waist, and brought it up, but Naruto blocked it with his right palm. Turned his hand around and brought it back, but Naruto blocked it with his left. He turned his body at 360 degrees, brought in his elbow around, but Naruto blocked it with both of his hands in a cross. Sakamoto brought up his left knee, but Naruto brought up his left leg. Sakamoto was shocked. At trying to penetrate his opponent's defense, he left himself wide open, as Naruto crouched his body rather quickly to swipe his leg away. But Sakamoto jumped back rather quickly, as he was a bit off balance due to the way he stand. Seeing that Naruto shot forward, Sakamoto tilted his head, letting it slide by. He brought his fist down, but Naruto slapped it to the side, as Naruto then turned and brought his fist around to meet Sakamoto's cheek. But Sakamoto vanished. Naruto was shocked, whereas he felt his feet give away underneath him as he flipped. As he dropped on his back rather roughly, Naruto was flipped over as he felt his arm wrapped around him, as a kunai was placed at his throat. And that's the match. Winner, Sakamoto Hatake. The teacher clapped as Sakamoto released Naruto. Pathetic, as everyone turned to see that the voice came from Jin. Being sprawled face first in the dirt as your opponent sits on you, even a complete loser like you shouldn't have lost to someone from outside of our clan like that. You really are a disgrace to the Uchiha clan, just like my father said you were. As all of them start to laugh at the blonde's expense. As Naruto gripped the ground, some of the dirt coming in his palm as he gripped it tightly. Like always, he didn't reply though. He held himself, as Sakamoto held out his hand. Hey kid, you alright? You're not hurt, are you? The teacher said, as he was trying to add more salt to the wound by saying that. As the kids are unheard and they start to laugh, as Naruto dusted himself off and walked away, forgetting about Sakumo, as he walked over to the tap and splashed water on his face. He couldn't believe how badly he was beaten. Never, never again, he thought to himself. Hey, he turned to see Snatty, her hands behind her back, a warm smile on her face. Don't worry about them, she said. You were awesome out there, and you're gonna definitely win next time. I know it. After all, we're here in the academy for quite some time. Naruto looked at her. Aren't you gonna make fun like the others, he asked, as he was not used to someone actually being kind after he lost. She stepped towards him rather angrily as he stepped back confused. I'll let you know, I was cheering for you from start to end, idiot. As she poked him in the chest, and never once did I laugh with them, she said. And don't be all mopey and broody, just because you lost, okay, she said, with a grin popping up on her face. We're here for another 6 or 7 years, so what if you lost? You have plenty more chances to beat their face in the ground, she said. Naruto heard a voice behind him as he turned, as Sakumo was standing there, his hand extended, with a 2 finger. You didn't make the seal of recollection earlier. Those are the rules, and I don't want to ruin the tradition, coming from generations on our first day here at the academy. As Naruto looked down, as he forgot, he extended his 2 fingers and grabbed the 2 fingers. It was a good match. You had me worried there for an honest moment. I'm not sure if we're properly introduced. I'm Sakumo. Sakumo Hatake from the Hatake clan. It's nice to meet you. This time he extended his hand for a shake, as Naruto took the hand and shook it. I'm Naruto. Naruto Uchiha, from the Uchiha clan. It's nice to meet you too, as Sakumo smiled and nodded. But someone grabbed the both of them as she placed her arms around their necks. I want to be friends too, said Snatty, as it caused the both of them to laugh. You have quite an interesting friend indeed, Sakumo said. I told you. She's a bit impulsive, said Naruto. Boink, boink. She bonked them over the head twice, as the both of them rubbed the lump of their heads. You deserve it, she said, as she folded her arms. The teacher then spoke. The next batch will be Snatty Senju and Misa Yamanaka. Please step in the rings. Snatty grabbed their hands as she pulled them along with her, as she brought them to watch. My chance. Finally, she said, with a smirk on her face, back at the balcony. It was a shame, really, the brown-haired man said. Said Tobirama as he glanced towards him. That blonde Uchiha, I mean. He seemed to have no experience in hand-to-hand combat before the spar, but his stance, it was quite clear in his mind. He probably learned the theory behind it. He missed many chances to counter, but his defense was really strong. A little more experience, and he would be acing through the physical workouts in no time. The style was built for his body, fast and agile, flexible movements. He was born with them in his palms. He will master it if he has the drive to do it. He will. He has the drive, said Tobirama, causing the other man to raise an eyebrow. Oh, you know him quite well, I presume. He intrigues you, don't he? As the man looked down towards the 3 children by the tap. This was the thing that they worked for, to precious and preserve these bonds, the friendship between the children that will grow into something amazing. He intrigues me too. The both of them do, the brown-haired man said, as Snatty's name was called. The moment the match started, Snatty moved. One hit as she buried her fist in the girl's stomach, who fell unconscious. Snatty poked her with her sandals, caused everyone to sweat drop. Oi, I didn't hit you so hard. Get up. I want to fight, she said. But the girl was out cold, as Tobirama shook his head, but he was proud. Since I'll make the seal later, she isn't making one right now, as Snatty walked off, as the man picked the girl up and brought her to the infirmary to make sure she was alright. You did great, said Sakumo, as Snatty grinned. Congratulations, said Naruto, as they watched the rest of the matches until the day finally came to an end. But guys, will be end right here. If you want to see sports and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. But for now, see you guys very soon. Peace.